What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Buttabrocka, and we have an amazing show for you today. But first of all, wasn't it hot outside today? I mean, I guess it is summer, but I wasn't really prepared because what had happened was I was in my house and it was freezing because I had on the AC. And so I dressed according to my house and I went outside and I got really messed up. It was burning up. I couldn't breathe. It was hot. I had on long sleeves. I had on pants. Like, what are you doing? It was like 90. It felt like 90 degrees. So I don't know. But I'm never going to do that again. But what I am going to do is I'm going to sit back and relax and read Defiant One's teen magazines. Make sure you guys check out their edition. They have 6 magazines currently out, and they're working on their 7th one, which will be a full year of Defiant One's teen magazine. And if you also get some time, make sure you get my book, Fear of Failure, Fear of Not Trying. It is an Amazon bestseller, and I became a bestseller within 7 hours of my pre-release. So that's when the drum roll is supposed to be like, da-da-da-da-da. But without further ado, I would like to bring on someone very, very near and dear to my heart, Miss the Runway Diva Shay. What's up, girl?
Hey, what's up? Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Hey. How you doing?
I'm doing.
You doing good? Good. I'm excited to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. So we're gonna just dive. Let's just dive on it. You ready to dive?
Let me dive in. Okay, let me do that over.
Wait, hold up. All right.
Yeah, okay, I'm ready.
All right. So you are known as the Runway Diva Shay. How did you get the name? I know how you got the name, but for our listeners, how did you get the name Runway Diva Shay?
Well, I was just everything on the runway. So, no, I'm just like, I came out the womb. I was like, with it. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened. So, when I was 2, they was like, oh, this is a no, I'm just, okay, I'm kidding. So about maybe, it's been maybe 10, 12 years ago or so, I was on the radio in Orlando. And we were trying to figure out what my name was going to be. I had to figure out my personality name. And the host of the show was like, Runway Diva Shay. And I was like, oh, I like the sound of that. That's me. I'm keeping that. And so it's been Runway Diva Shay ever since.
Yeah. And
it just kind of goes along with the brand. I love it. It just embodies so much. So I kept it.
Absolutely. So let's take it back to the beginning. How did you start modeling?
My mother actually put me in modeling as a kid. So She started me to model, and I was doing pageants and talent shows and local shows like that. And then as I got a little bit older, she put me in some training classes, and I ended up meeting Jada, make sure I say the right name, Jackson. I ended up meeting Jada Jackson, and she was the commentator for Ebony Fashion Fair at the time. Actually, she modeled in Ebony Fashion Fair. She tried to get me in, and then she became the commentator. But meanwhile, she was having these model boot camps, and so she really took me under her wing, and that's when I started doing runway, really getting good and learning at it. That's when I started perfecting the craft, and that was all it took. After that, it was like, hey, where the next runway at? I'm ready.
So at what age did you start taking lessons?
I think I was maybe 14 or 15.
Okay. So at some point, it goes from a hobby to, hey, this is what I'm going to be doing for real, and start getting paid for. So what was the transition into that?
Well, in Orlando, I modeled a lot, but there was a lot of local things that were going on, and it wasn't necessarily paid. It was like, these are great fun things to do, it's good for boosting your confidence and helping you get that personality out and being that alter ego and things on stage. And that was really cool, and it was very family oriented. But I got to a point where I felt like, okay, I'm kind of at a cap now here. I want to grow and do more. And I started elementary school in Georgia. So I decided, hey, I'm going to move back to Georgia because I feel like there'll be more opportunities there. So I literally made my way, and not as soon as I got here, things started kind of jumping off and popping off.
As soon as you landed on the clay of Georgia,
I was like, I'm here. Where the check at? Aha! No.
you know, it's a different thing to be able to. I mean, at some point you have to be able to transition from, hey, you know, I'm doing all these fashion shows and I'm doing all of this stuff, to, oh no, she really doing all this stuff. Like it's a transition. But when you first start out, of course, you're gonna be taking, you know, as much shows and different things, you know, that you can. Now, how do you, what I've noticed as a singer, a lot of people would hit you with the, you know, they want you to work with them and everything. It's for charity, it's for this, it's for that. And they try to either lowball you or, you know, eventually make it sound like you're doing them, you know, a favor. I'm trying to say this politically.
You trying to say exposure? Is that what you're saying?
Right. You know, for the exposure of it, you know, we want you to rock this runway. This is for exposure. But the door and stuff, you know, the place, they're getting paid, but you not getting paid. I mean, what's your
she like well, exposure, first of all, I can't take that, you know, to a light bill man and be like, hey, I got exposures for you. I got 800 exposures.
800.
Will you accept this for payment? They're gonna be like, lights off, cut.
Right.
So at this point, I am a professional model, so I will do things for, you know, I won't even necessarily say free. I'm actually to a point where I don't do things for free. There has to be, matter of fact, anybody should never do anything for free. It should be something in it for you. So I always make sure I'm getting something out of it. And
right.
If I am going to do it for free, I am going to have asked for some type of compensation from it, even though it still may be something beneficial to me. For example, I did a class yesterday for makeup artists for Miss Universe. They came in town, they had a makeup artist class, and they needed a model. Somebody that I knew referred me because she wasn't able to make it. It's always good to have those relationships.
Right.
So I went ahead and told them, okay, you know, I'll do the class, but you know, is there any compensation? What is the compensation? Not is there. What's the compensation? And
right.
They're like, okay, well, let me see what's in my budget, how much you're gonna charge. So always, you know, I throw those rates out there. For people that's close to me, I'll always kind of do things for them just because we have that type of relationship. And, you know, when you're close to somebody like that, it's always give and take. Right. You know, if you need them, they'll be there, and vice versa.
Right.
The other people that come, you know, it's like, hey, I really only do these things with my close friends.
Right.
You know, and even still, it's not even necessarily about the pay at some point. Sometimes it's just like, okay, you got to have your stuff together. So
right.
At least have your stuff together. If you're going to come ask somebody to do something for free, like
absolutely.
When I say stuff together, I'm sorry, I'm elaborating a little bit. Time, date, location, you know, how long you're gonna need me to be there, who doing the makeup, have all the details together, become to me professionally, right. So that I can help me make a decision on your behalf, you know, that's gonna benefit you. So
right. And please note that we're not saying that there's anything wrong with bartering, because a lot of people barter. I mean, I have a group of people that I associate with. Anytime they need me for performances, or I need them for makeup, or I need them for clothes, or any of that type of stuff, you gotta have that type of circle. But at some point, when you want to cross over from it just being a hobby to you start to get paid, you can't be afraid, one, to ask for the money. Even if, you know, at some point, even the friendship, you gotta say, okay, you know, at some point. So if you're trying to elevate to another level, you know, we're trying to give you some tips on how to do that, because it is hard. It took me a long time, you know, when I first moved up here. You got to pay your dues. That's what they call it, you know. So I was doing shows after show, studio after studio, and then eventually you're like, okay, so so how this gonna pay the bills though?
Right. Yeah, my mom used to always get on me because I used to do everything for free all the time, and she'd be like, "Well, are they paying you? Why are they paying you? Are you getting paid?" Like, that's what she sounded like too when she said it. That's what I heard. I ain't getting paid. Well, you need to ask them. You need to tell them you want this much. You need to, and I'm very nice and sweet. It's just like, I'm not necessarily doing it for the money, but
yeah,
things do cost, and so you definitely want to feel like your time is appreciated, and so it's always good to be paid.
Yeah.
So, but she used to kill me with that. I was just like, Mom, I was paying my dues. She didn't understand that.
Yeah. My mom would be like, okay, it's been 4 years, you still paying your dues? Like, what you doing? I'm like,
and it take a long time sometimes.
I used to say yes to every single thing, and then eventually you have to in order to elevate. So I stopped doing, the open mics. I mean, I'll go and do open mics sometimes, but in order to break off and set myself apart, I couldn't be as accessible, all the time. And when I did do that, I was able to start getting paid for my shows. I was able to start charging because you couldn't see me everywhere all the time. Right. And then the offers started really coming in, and that got me overseas, and then overseas led to so many other things. Yeah. But it was because I finally said, well, at some point I gotta take it to a different level. So we want to show you and help you on getting to another level, because you're the first model I've spoken to, and you have been extremely successful. So speaking of successful, why don't you tell everybody, some of the things that you've done? Because not only are you a supermodel, you're an actor, you're a coach, you're a motivational speaker, you're a brand ambassador. I mean, there's so many things that you do. You have many hats. And I remember one of the shows that you did, because I booked it for you. One of the shows that you did, you talked about, they said, describe you in one word, and you said a hustler. And you said, you wear many hats and everything, and you truly do. On top of all of these different things, you're also a mom. So speak on, the things that you do, and then we'll just keep it rolling.
I have literally done some of everything. I always tell people, I will babysit your kids. I will change your tires if you need it done. I am always trying to get my hands on whatever I can just to grow for myself, especially anything that's in my field of work, anything entertainment wise. So I have done the motivational speaking. I spoke at my son's school for Black History Month, which was really amazing. I've done the acting stuff. I was on #Murder for TV One. I was on Black Girls Rock ad campaign. I've done the print ads, the international print ads for Lotta Body. I've done some soft and beautiful stuff. I was supposed to get with ORS, the olive oil company. So I've really done a lot of things. Brand ambassador work I've been doing for almost 15 years. I'm giving away my age, but I've been doing brand ambassador work for a long time. I work with a lot of different companies, Dove, and I've worked with different liquor brands and Lego and Reese's, and you kind of name it. I've done some of everything. I always encourage people, anything that's in your field of work, learn it and get to it, because you never know when it will come in handy later on in life. Recently, one of my friends was showing me how to do production and work the sound and get a board, which is so foreign to me, but I'm going to learn how to do it. It's in the it's in the field of entertainment, and so the more you know how to do, the better you are. If somebody gives me their camera and like, hey, can you take a picture of me? I'm like a photographer, because I've been doing this for so long. Like, I can coordinate a whole, model coordinator, and doing the acting classes and the modeling classes and the teaching here and teaching there. Like, I don't know. Everybody asks, are you a Jamaican? Or my kids, I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to work. They're like, well, which job you going to today? Like, where are you working at? So it's a combination of hustling to take care of myself and my family, and just doing the things that I love to make me feel good. People should always go for whatever it is that they're passionate about, just to help them succeed and be happy in life. You can't make anybody else happy if you aren't happy. So I always tell people, just, go for what you love.
I mean, wow. I mean, you said so many amazing things. I mean, international. I mean, you've done so many things. So let's talk about Black Girls Rock. Because, when I saw you on there next to Queen Latifah, I was like, yes, that's my friend. That's my friend. So how did you get that? What happened?
Again, I think somebody sent that to me? Somebody may have sent that to me, or either I end up getting, the casting company that I actually applied for the job through, who sent that to me? Did you send me that? I don't remember who sent me that. I don't remember, but I know somebody probably told me to sign up with that casting company. So I just wanted to stress how important relationships are.
Right.
Because a lot of the things that I've done and gotten accomplished has come from relationships with different people, and not just, me having that relationship with that person to expect something from them. I've helped other people, like, hey, well, let me help you, or what can I do to you? I'm always trying to help other people, and people remember that. And
right.
when it comes to, something that they have for you, they'll call you and be like, hey, when you wasn't even expecting, you don't even think this person even have that type of connection.
Right.
But anyhow, I submitted the email. Actually, Rachel sent me that. Sorry, I remembered. Ding dong. My friend Rachel. Okay, just if you don't mind, just for the whole emphasis on the relationship thing, I did a lot of body shoot when I first moved to Georgia. That was my first big paid gig. And I met the behind the scenes photographer there, and me and him became cool. And years later, he ends up, getting his girlfriend and getting married, and she ends up starting her own type of management company. And she actually was the one who sent me that and submitted me for it. Yeah. So those little small things, and that was a huge thing that I got the opportunity to do. They had hundreds of girls show up at this casting for the Black Girls Rock campaign, and we had no idea the magnitude of how much they were going to use us, or who was in it, or anything like that. So right. When I got picked out of a group of all of those girls, I was just like, hey, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I really was just like, okay, I'm here, right? I go to set and everything, and I didn't know Queen Latifah was going to be there. So I see people doing all this extra stuff, running around. Oh, well, she's going to be in this room, and da 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 da, and over here and over there. And it's like, who's coming? It was like, Queen Latifah. I was like, Queen Latifah coming? Oh, wow, okay, I'm on set. What you talking about? So it was super cool to be on set with her. She was really amazing. I cannot think of the director's name, and I do not want to
don't botch it.
Beyonce's brother-in-law.
Right, don't botch it up, boy.
I was on there with Beyonce's brother-in-law. He was the director for the shoot, so I'm close to Beyonce now, whatever. No, but he was really amazing too, and it just so happened to be his birthday. I cannot believe I can't remember his name, but it was really cool to be on set with him as well, because he's done so many great things. He shoots all the things for BET. To have the commercial ran every 2 seconds for 2 months straight was amazing. Yeah. I actually met the people that were filming, the production crew, and I still keep in contact with a couple of them. They were able to send me some footage and pictures. The photographer, I was able to still kind of have some of those contacts.
Right.
And even though I may not have that may have not led to anything immediately after, because it's been a minute, I'm sure in the future it will actually lead to some other things, connections in the future. So I'm still excited about it.
Oh, it's definitely gonna lead to additional things. And here was the real cool thing: the boys and Terrence was recently on a set filming a commercial, a national commercial, and the stylist is the same stylist that styled you for the BET Black Girls Rock.
Hey, yes. Oh my gosh. Those Brown sisters.
Yeah.
They are amazing. I love them. They are so cool. And they get around. They do all kind of everybody's set and styling. And they are so cool and fun to work with. Their bond, those sisters working together is inspiring for me.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the things that I keep hearing through this whole conversation is relationships. You got to have those relationships, because not only when you are on set or when you're on that runway or when you're behind the scenes, getting your hair and makeup done, you got to think about this. And I tell this to the boys, we always are on. You're never going to find me off, because I know that all eyes are on me. And I'm not saying that to be arrogant or anything. It's just that I've been doing it so long, I now know that it doesn't matter who's in the room. That makeup person might have a connection and see the way you're acting and how professional you are, and they say, oh, I want to use her for this, or the photographer wasn't even at your shoot. They had another shoot, but they walk past you and they see the way you're acting.
Right.
Or you're on the runway and they see, what you're doing and how you're interacting afterwards and stuff like that. You have to be on point at all times when you are there for an assignment, because you never know who's going to view you, and you never know who's going to call you for additional things. But it is about the relationship. I've done so many sets where things like that has happened, and it's happened for you, a lot of times too. People be like, oh, Shay, oh, let me call Shay. That's the way it works. You got to keep those open relationships and just be on point at all times.
Yes, that's very true. It's not about who you know, it's about who knows you.
Yeah. Very true. So for models that are trying to transition, and okay, at first this was a hobby, now I wanna transition. When do you look for a manager? When do you say, let me get a brand, let me become a brand ambassador? Do they find you? Do you find them? Like, how does that work?
Okay. First of all, brand ambassador work, anybody can do that. You do not have to be America's Next Top Model to do brand ambassador work. Okay. I always tell people, go to the Brand Ambassadors of Atlanta page, or there are pages for different cities and different states. And on Facebook, you can go to the brand ambassadors of, Chicago, or brand ambassadors of Las Vegas. And normally you can find some opportunities in there, because there are marketing companies that are constantly posting, hey, we need people for this, we need people for that. And even if you don't get chosen for that particular job, all you have to do is go to that marketing company's website and sign up for their emails, or sign up on their list, or create a profile. So that way, when they do have opportunities, you can get a hold of some of them. It's crazy. You would never even think about being a brand ambassador or know that job existed until you know somebody that's done it. But if you go to the grocery store and see somebody handing out something for free, they're handing out free samples of this, or they're giving away. We would, when I worked with Miller Coors, we would go to the train station like during the games and hand out free stuff, koozies and hats, and that's brand ambassador works. Like some companies, they may have a team of only 12 people or 24 girls, for a certain amount of time. And some people, they bring in hundreds of people at a time. They may have a big event. So anybody literally can do that. If you have a fun personality, bubbly, that's something easily that you can do and make good money doing it. So and it's according to your schedule, huh? Is
it kind of like sales? Because you were saying you're out there handing out stuff. So would someone kind of think that it's like a sales job? Because I'm assuming you got to know about the product.
Marketing, that's it. No sales.
Gotcha.
We're not selling anything. We don't have to, and we're encouraging you to sell. So this is just marketing. We're just giving you these marketing products. Here, take our koozie to the game and put it on your drink so everybody can see that you have our koozie. Like, it's all about brand ambassador work. Is all about marketing.
Okay.
And then for the people who are interested in actually transitioning, you don't want to do modeling as a hobby anymore, and you want to make money outside of doing brand ambassador work, you want to know if you should find a manager or an agency. If you want to find a manager, you should make sure you're ready to have a manager for one. And the same thing with an agency. Some people don't know the difference between the two. A manager is going to handle things for you. They may negotiate things, business, calls or funding for you and everything. The agency may do the same thing, but an agency is really huge, and a manager is only going to have a few people here and there, and they're going to be more hands-on with you versus an agency. You have to have your stuff together when you go to an agency. Right. A manager may help you get the things that you need. An agency will, but not as much as a manager will.
Right.
Because it's, you're one of just a few. But make sure that you have the tools that you need. A lot of these Atlanta people, I don't even want everybody think, oh, nah, I got my stuff together. I don't want to, I know everything. If you know everything, you can't learn nothing new. So be open-minded so that you can learn something new. Stop thinking that you know everything. Make sure you have the right photos. Make sure you know how to walk. Make sure you're doing the things that you do as far as having a good facial expression and your poses. Like, have all of that stuff as together as you can before you go out here seeking to get paid for some stuff.
Right. Did you just do the...
I had to do that. It just came to me like, oh, goodness,
okay.
you.
Right. Okay, so a question for you. Like, okay, so I look at America's Next Top Model, right? And I see that the models have to, that's trying to get signed to the agencies and stuff like that. Like you were saying, you got to have your stuff together. So they have to come with it's not the comp cards, it's the
portfolio?
Yeah, the portfolio.
Or digitals?
Right. So is that something that you really do need to have when you are coming to these agencies to get signed?
When you go to an agency, it is very highly recommended to have a portfolio. If you don't, they're probably going to try to hook you up with some photographers to do some test shots to see what you look like shooting. The portfolio is so they can see what your work looks like. Are you versatile? Can you, have a mad face? Can you do a happy face? Or should I say, can you do a commercial look? Can you do a high fashion look? Can you do a teen look or a tween look? Or, can you be sophisticated? Can you be girl next door? They want to be able to see these different things. So when you bring your portfolio, that's what it is. The same thing with a photographer.
Right.
When they say, oh my gosh, I want to shoot with you. I love your work. Your stuff is amazing. And I'm like, okay, let me see your work. Let me look at your portfolio. When I go to your page, I'm looking at your photos to see what kind of work that you have. Are you picking the good shot out of all of the photos, or are you just picking, oh, this one looks nice? No, that's not it. That's not the it photo. So they're looking at the exact same thing when it comes to modeling as well.
And you've been in the industry long enough and have worked with enough major companies to know what they are looking for. So even with the photographer, what they're going to pick, what the company will more likely pick, as opposed to somebody that even might be new, does great photos, but they might be new transitioning to wanting to get to another level, because everybody goes to different levels. So you as the model can't be afraid to say, nah, that one ain't the one. You got to be able to speak up and say what it is.
I am that person.
I know you're that person.
Somebody told me the other day, they were looking for a model, and they were like, yeah, I need you because I know you're going to do this and I won't have to give them no direction. And somebody else butted in and was like, no, Shay doesn't take direction. She gives direction. She gonna tell you how to shoot the picture and where to shoot it in. I'm just like, oh man. I mean, it kind of sounds, but sometimes when you deal with people, you like, hey, I know what's gonna look good and what's not and what angle. Like, I've kind of, since I'm used to teaching all the time, I'm always ready to like help and be like, oh, well, this would do this, So, that makes a big difference too when you're working with people that are not already, up there and know everything.
Right.
Everything, but
Right. Well, not only does me and Shay, have a working relationship, but we're also really good friends. And I've had Shay come to plenty of my sets, and Shay will be like, no. Did you see what did you see the way he was looking, and the photographer or the camera guy's like, oh yeah, it looks good, and he was like, no, did you see that something
you got space right here, right. Look, you need to get this
like, no.
That in the background, did you see that? Like, I don't know, as a model, it's been like, or maybe I get creative director, and sometimes a lot of people will be like, okay, you're a creative director. My designer, I go and like move her stuff around. So I kind of, once I have something to work with, I can definitely improve. I'm always looking for those improvements.
Yeah.
And then when you're doing photography, you have to realize that the model is looking at herself. The makeup artist is looking at the makeup to see what the makeup looks like. The hair person is looking at the hair to see if the hair is in place.
Right.
The photographer is looking at the lighting and the angles. You have to take into consideration, the stylist is looking at the clothes, the designer, everybody wants to look. I am literally looking at all these different things because I've been doing this so long. And so it's like you're having that extra person there to see everything. Like, I need to do this on set or something. Like, oh wait, no, that glass was half empty last time. Like, sometimes I'm looking at movies and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, that shifted. Like, okay, that shouldn't be there. Like,
you know what? I think that's the reason why we get along so good, because, as you know, I'm the exact same way. I'm so detailed with every single thing. It has to make sense. And you can't just have, the picture got to make sense, the movements, the hair, everything got to make sense in that particular shot. From the movie video, from movies to pictures to even my stage play, it gotta make sense. And I think that's the reason, like, we both be like, this ain't
Team Taurus, because we out here, that's right. Why, you know what I'm saying? Team Shea Butter, Team Taurus. Right. Tauruses are very sensual. We look at everything, eyes, see, smell, hear, taste, all of that. We all own it.
Yeah, very true, very true. So you also co-hosted a nationally syndicated radio show. Tell us about that.
So that's where I got my Runway Diva Shay name from, and I was the comic relief. I started off as the comic relief, and then I kind of went on the regular days. But the motto of the show was to listen, laugh, and learn. It was a Don Miller show. It's actually still on in the Orlando area, it's based in Orlando, and it was amazing. I was kind of like the common man on there. We talked about politics and things like that, and I was always kind of playing devil's advocate. And then I would come in and make people laugh. I didn't really have a filter. I just say anything. Well, within radio rights.
Right.
Within
so
radio
limits. You're kind of a comedian.
I've been known to be funny. I have done the Mike Ben show, which is sketch comedy. I did your play. I cheated, so what?
You had everybody laughing, no lie.
And I only had 5 lines, y'all.
Right. Which is another thing. That I say to people. It doesn't matter what your lines is. It matters that you deliver and you make people remember your lines. And Shay, honestly, because we had you kind of just as a background at first, and her part
wasn't even background. I was just helping, like, I'm like, help me. Somebody, oh, well, she can act. Okay, well, I'm gonna give you a couple lines.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Like,
and we gave her those lines. And when I say, and I'm not exaggerating, when I say the crowd went wild when you came on and you did your little funny skit, we didn't even know you was gonna do it like that. I didn't even rehearse. I was trying to stay on course and everything with my lines, and then you come out, hello, and we like, what?
I did not rehearse what I was going to do, so I literally showed up the day of the show and changed. Nobody knew what wardrobe I was wearing or anything. Like, I literally just did it, and it just what felt good to me at the moment. And with them couple of lines, I was just like, even though I didn't have anything to say sometimes, like, I just did little stuff like, it's the way you look, the way you are giving off some energy. This whole scene, I didn't have no line. I think I came up from underneath the bar. The bar was here, and I'm like, and I'm like, come from up underneath the bar real slow. Like, everybody was like, well, did she just come up from the bar?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. And it's been a minute, but I appreciated that. That was so much fun. I really, really enjoyed doing that and being a part of it.
That's coming back, so don't worry. That is absolutely coming back. And I already told you about another project, so we got some stuff coming up.
Hey, can I be the bartender again?
I know you.
Y'all don't have to give me no real lines. Look.
You have to be the bartender, but we got to put more lines for the bartender. Because I'm telling you, you stole the show. Everybody was cracking up on your parts, and I was like, well, what is she doing? Out there just killing it. So if I never told you before, which I have told you, but let me publicly tell you, thank you so much for being a part of it. That was another one of those, hey, Shay, I need you. And she was right there. And then, you know, we wrote her into the script, and I'm telling you, and I'm not just exaggerating. She came on to the scene and totally made it herself and ripped it and made it so lasting that everybody was like, who was that? Who was the bartender? They want to take pictures with you. Like, it was insane.
And people recognized me after that, and I was just like, they were like, hey, were you the bartender? I'm like, yeah, like
yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was real cool. Okay, so you've been featured in a lot of magazines too. So tell us about that. Which magazines have you been featured in?
Let me first start off with Defiant Ones. Hey, y'all make sure y'all check that out. A year up and coming. Hey, they give us awards and everything. Check out Defiant Ones, the greatest teen magazine ever. At Buy Black.
Right.
Boys at that. Hey, okay,
Boys
sorry. Buy Black Men. I'm sorry. Okay, all right. Had to throw that out there. But I've done Hype Hair magazine. I've done the Atlantan, which is really popular around here. I have done the Black Women's Today. Man, I don't know the names of all the magazines, but there's been several. I have a lot of tear sheets. I can show you my portfolio.
Well, I've definitely seen it. But you know what? Talking about the Atlantan, I remember I called you because I had just picked up that magazine, and I was looking because we were trying to figure out, you know, as a new magazine company, we was trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. So I'm looking at all these magazines. That's another thing, people. You need to study what works. So, you know, you need to study other actors. You need to study other models. You need to see the things that work. I study other singers and their performances and everything, because if it's bad, I'm going to not take what they're doing, but I'm going to learn from it and elevate what I'm doing. So that was what had happened. I was looking at this magazine because we was trying to get ideas and see what works, and that was a really popular magazine. And lo and behold, I hit my Shea Butta up, and I was like, hey girl, I see you in this magazine. I mean, you was like everywhere. Then I cut on the TV. Hey, I see you on TV. I'm like, dang.
I'm working on it. I'm working on the everywhere part for real.
Right,
for real. Like,
right.
I'm not feeling it yet, but I'm working on it. It's coming.
Right. So let me ask you another question. Okay. So what do you recommend for a new model that has transitioned is transitioning to a paid model? What do you recommend for prices? Like, because you know, people will say, do they just say this is my budget, or do they say, well, what's your price? And if they do say what's your price, what do you recommend that a new model start off with?
As far as getting everything they need to go to an agency?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so first and foremost, you have to have the right photos. So I always encourage people, go to the websites for the agencies that you are trying to get with and make sure that your photos are going to look similar to that. So first off, you want to look at that when you are trying to get your photos done. And that will help a lot in your pricing as far as finding a photographer, because a lot of photographers, they're not doing the type of stuff that the agency is actually looking for, or they have never worked with an agency, so they don't know.
Right.
So 9 times out of 10, that's going to cut your price in half, because a lot of people are charging $500-$600 for things, and you could have only spent $300 and got, you know, more of what you needed, and then whatever you spent, you can't even use it for anything.
Right.
So it is, if you do have a budget, say, okay, hey, this is my budget, and these are the things that I need. I need to get a portfolio. I need to get those pictures. You can just really start off with those pictures. if you get some good headshots done, I always throw Tracy Bosworth out there. Tracy Bosworth page. She is amazing. She does headshots, and she takes pictures for Jay Purvis and Click. I met her at a party for them, and me and her clicked, and we've been cool ever since. And she does all of my headshots, and she's the best. Literally, when people look at them, even from the agency, they know who took the pictures already. So that'll get you a shoe in already. And like, oh, Tracy took these? Okay, yeah, okay. These are exactly what we need. You have to make sure you have the right marketing materials that the agency actually needs to market you. Right. So check out that photographer. And then if you don't have those portfolio pictures, you don't have, so what really goes in your portfolio is tear sheets. So you're supposed to take your work and actually put it in those pages of your portfolio. But when you don't have work, you want to make sure that you have a diverse portfolio. So if you are doing a shoot and you want to get everything done in one whop, have somebody here to change up your hair if you don't know how to make it look completely different than the last time you had it. It's the same thing with your makeup and same thing with your outfit. You want to have these completely different looks. You don't want to have every picture look the same. That defeats the purpose of having a portfolio. If you're gonna have
even your poses need to be different. Every pose can't be in the same smile, and you got to be able to show a lot of different versatility.
Practice, just like she was saying, she still practices and studies other people. I do the same thing. When I see pictures, I'm looking like, where are their hands, where are their feet, which way are they looking, what are they feeling when they're doing it, can I do that, what does this look, what would I change about this photo, so just in case I do it, maybe it's some improvements that can make the picture better. So definitely take a look at that and see, are you ready, and make sure that you have your stuff together before you go and spend that money, because you're not going to get it back, and you want to make sure you get some bang for your buck.
Right.
Last thing real quick, if you can't get a portfolio and you at least get your headshots, you can get some digitals done. Digitals are pretty much full body. You get different angles. You get a headshot, the shoulder up, you get a waist up, a full body shot up against a white background with amazing lighting, no makeup, or very little, very natural. Don't put on these lashes. Don't be having on no shades. Okay, have a natural style or something that's decent. Don't be having stuff showing.
Right.
Y'all know what I'm saying. I don't have to elaborate, but you can get some digitals done and use those, and you can submit yourself online to different agencies. And they'll say, hey, we want you, or no, we don't. They also have open calls. Of course, right now, the open calls are, not happening because of, the situation right now. But still, you can submit yourself because they have more time to scroll and check emails. So take advantage of it.
But wait, Shay, wait. I want to be dolled up to go and take these photos to send to agencies. Why can't I have on my lashes? Why can't I have all this extra long earrings and different things? What's the problem?
The agency, they want to see a blank canvas. They want to see what they can make you into, not what you think you are, what you already look like. When the client calls and say, hey, we need somebody to do this for this, this, and this, and then they looking at you and you already look like this, you're going to be out. Right. Oh, well, no, we need somebody with short hair and this is, okay, well, no, she got long hair, she done. But it's that simple. So make yourself look as simple as possible so they can imagine where they can see you at, because that's going to make the difference in them sending you on that casting and you booking that job or not.
Right. So I know that back in the day, it used to be like for Runway was for, all the extra tall ladies and everything like that. But Runway has completely changed a lot. It's opened up for a lot of different people now. Do you agree?
Yes, so it depends. You have to find out where you can get in, and you got to be able to get in where you fit in. Right. There's so many other things that make a play on whether you're chosen or not these days. So, if you got 1 million followers and you are 5'7", they might be like, okay, well, we're looking for somebody that has followers. So, you can get in here. Or maybe you find a line. There are designers that make things for people with that height.
Right.
So figure out who they are and go after them, and you can model for that company. Like
Right.
it is out there, it is available. You just have to be diligent and precise when looking to see, you know, what's your niche, like
Yeah.
where do you fit in?
Yeah, definitely fitting in and finding the right team and finding the right avenues to really get you out there is very important. Although it's cool to do a lot of shows, sometimes you don't want to be on every show in the same outfit in every show. Like sometimes that's not a good thing. Sometimes it is when you first starting out, but sometimes when you're trying to, what we're talking about right now is trying to transition from just starting out to, you know, getting some paychecks, you know, and this is Transparency Talks podcast. So we're trying to be as transparent as possible, you know, and really show you, or hopefully help guide you from somebody who is professional and who does get paid on a regular basis for doing what she does. So when people see, you know, Shay, how she toured over in Europe, how she did all of these things, we're trying to give you some tips to help you and you know, and not trying to throw shade or anything, but genuinely help you as to what people are looking for, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. I really think you guys should pay attention to what Shay is saying right now. Now, Shay, let me ask you this. I've heard about the model's bag. So well, I'm gonna tell you now, the boys' model's bag is ridiculous. I mean, my sons, when they have photo shoots, they come completely ready. I mean, they come overly ready, but that's not a bad thing. So when somebody says, do you have your model's bag? What is that?
Oh man, a model's bag is everything. The boys are doing good and bringing everything. I literally bring so much stuff, and I see girls walk in and they have like this little bag with like 2 pairs of shoes in it, and that's it. So your model bag, you want to have a nude shoe, you want to have a black shoe, a white shoe, a gold, a silver, depending on what the season is or what you're wearing. You want to kind of get a feel for that, so you know whether it's open toe or closed toe, because you want to match with the season and all that kind of stuff. Keep that in mind. You want to have all the stuff to be able to do your own hair, right, and your own makeup. You should be able to do these things on your own, and you know, especially when you're just beginning, you can show up to set or, you know, to the show, and there's a line of girls and they're crunch time, the show is about to start, and you didn't get your makeup or your hair done, and you're saying, what am I supposed to do? I didn't get my makeup done. Go beat yourself real quick and be ready. Right. As a professional model, you have to have that. So
should you already come ready, or should you at least have a base on, just in case they don't get around to you because they ran out of time?
Well, sometimes they'll tell you to show up hair and makeup ready. They'll send you a mood board or something to give you an idea of what it is. Mm-hmm. But if they don't give you anything, definitely have your foundation on. That is always a plus, especially when people don't know, you don't know what the makeup artist, what their experience is. Right. Not to take anything away from them as far as their ability and their talent, but sometimes darker skin or lighter skin, they may not have that foundation to match you, and so you walk out of there looking like dear Heavenly Father, we're gathered here today. Yeah. So you can have on your base if you have an idea. Me, I have natural hair, so I'm always asking what is being done with the hair so that I can make sure that it's prepped in advance. I am tender-headed. I will cry. Okay, so
I will cry. Okay,
I will cry. I'm not afraid to use it. Okay, real quick. Real quick, okay? They'd be like, I'm like, oh man, I'm tender-headed.
Tender-headed.
I'm so tender-headed.
Jesus. Oh, you would be one of them ones. If I did hair, I'd be like, oh my God, this one.
My daughter was trying to put some aloe in my hair. She's like, oh, I gotta detangle it and I gotta part it. And I'm just like, why you gotta do all that? You can't just throw it in there. Like, I sound like a kid, right? I only wash it and detangle it once a week when I wash it. So
like, you don't do that. Leave it
You're
alone.
not combing through this. That's not
Right.
gonna work for me.
Right. So we have some people on Facebook. Vanessa said, "Good evening, ladies." Hey, Vanessa.
Hey, girl.
Beverly is talking about next level when we was talking about, transitioning from it being a hobby to next level. Sparkle's on here talking about everything cute and everything. So it's cool.
Hey.
We got a couple people on here saying hey too.
Hey, y'all.
I think that you're truly, dropping a lot of knowledge. You know what I mean? And I definitely appreciate that. So I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. How can people follow you?
You guys can follow me on all social media outlets at Runway Diva Shay, Shay. I just started an actress paid acting actor.
Take 10.
I rewinded that. I
Right.
did it and then I rewinded it.
Right.
I just started an acting page. It is actress Shay Davis. Shay is with a Y. Do not call me Shapandra anywhere. Just want to let you know that since we're on Facebook and you might be able to see my full name. Don't do that. You won't get an answer. I am Runway Diva Shay. So follow me on all media outlets at Runway Diva Shay. You can email me at therunwaydivashay@gmail.com. And you can always DM me if you have any questions about anything regarding modeling. I consider myself kind of, like a life coach or a motivational coach or something too. So, if it's not pertaining to modeling, feel free to ask me my opinion because I am very opinionated and I will give you some good advice. She said very.
She's like, let me just tell you. And no
Let me
filter. She's going to tell you how it is, but with love, but she's going to tell you how it is and she's not going to sugarcoat it. And you need friends like that. You don't need somebody that's always going to tell you, yes, everything looks great. Yes, yes, yes. You don't need that. You need genuine friends that's going to be like,
Those ain't your friends.
Yeah,
Those yes people is not your friends.
Yeah, definitely. So speaking of you coaching, tell us a little bit more about your coaching. And then I want to end it with what you've been doing during COVID, because I know that it's definitely slowed down the music industry, and I'm positive it's slowed down, the modeling industry as well, but it might not have. So first of all, coaching.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of mesh those together just a bit because I actually had 2 events planned right before the COVID hit.
I remember.
And one of them I decided to go ahead and do. I had a 5-hour model boot camp. I'm so glad that I decided to do it because it turned out amazing. I had some girls come from out of town, one girl's from North Carolina, from Alabama. Like, it was just really an amazing class. I had maybe 6 girls or so. I love those intimate settings because it's so hands-on when I get to help somebody. And we learned a lot and they really enjoyed themselves. I'm really into boosting that confidence and making sure that, you have to carry yourself a certain way to be a model, and call yourself a model requires things. So I'm always doing that. I've worked with different agencies, Talento, I'm sorry if they're Spanish, but there's a Latina agency that I've worked with. There's a Indian guy that I work with. He has a school of modeling and talent. I've worked with Miles Models. I've worked with Good Jeans Management. I've worked with a lot of different companies as far as coaching. So I'm always available to work with agencies as well as one-on-ones. I do travel and go to people and do my one-on-one classes. If you want to get a group of people, I can also get a group of together and, we can figure something out there. So I'm always available. I am working on some digital coaching. I did do a couple of Instagram lives. I was doing my Model Talk Mondays where I would have somebody come on and ask a question and maybe wanted to learn about posing. And so I had you do a couple poses and gave you some tips and things like that. So I am getting ready to get that, get the ball back rolling there. I think I'm going to do it on Facebook this time. So you guys look out for that. And then the whole COVID situation, it really shut down so much stuff. And I was like, no, what am I gonna do? Okay, I know my hair is funny, so it has its own personality.
Yeah.
So, man, not only did I have my events planned, but there was so many other things. I was supposed to go to do some shows out of town because I'm a part of the Georgia Bridal Show. So we do 16 shows touring around the Georgia area. That got canceled. A few of those shows were canceled, as well as the hair show was coming up, and that got canceled, which I was already booked for. Like, there were so many different events that were coming, you know, because I'm like a full-time model. Like, this is what you mean the events are shut down?
Yeah.
10 people, hold on. Like, so I was able to, I have like a part-time day job that I do from time to time too, which that shut down too. So literally
everything shut down.
Everything was like, no boo-boo. So I was sitting over here like, oh, well, I'm so glad I was putting some money up. Like, so luckily, I did have something to fall back on, which was amazing. And then now that things are starting to pick back up a little bit more, I have been getting calls to do different jobs pertaining to modeling. So that has been very helpful. I have had a few, things here and there come up where I'm able to take care of that and get some side, money. But I'm getting ready to get these virtual things started. Y'all work with me now. So I'm working on something. I got to figure out something so I can start getting some income again. But yeah, it's been a little rough, and just being inspired. Like, I just felt uninspired and uncomfortable, and just like, what do I do? Why me?
You know what? You and every other million person that's on this planet is all saying why me at the same time. I mean, I think we all are at some point had to adjust and are feeling, pinches in some areas and having to figure out how to finagle into other areas. Like,
I feel singled out too. It's just me. It's just me. I feel
singled out. No, just you.
I feel singled out. I'm extra, okay? I'm so extra, okay? It's just me. I can't believe it's happening. But I just felt like I ain't have no fight in me left. Like, just like, oh my gosh, like, what am I gonna do? Yeah. And I do so many things. And so it's been difficult to figure out, like, what one thing am I gonna do? I'm still kind of, even if I'm picking modeling, like, there's different things. Am I coaching? Am I gonna be doing runway stuff? Am I gonna be talking? Like, am I gonna do things where I'm, where am I gonna be set up at? Like, am I gonna make sure that you can see me walk? Like, even that has been like, yeah. So I'm working on it, guys. I know if people think I have my stuff together all the time, they'd be like, oh, look at those pictures. Oh, she's great. She's doing great. I am doing great, but, I'm a work in progress, okay? Y'all pray for me.
We all are work in progress. We are definitely. So, one of the things that I didn't talk about is the runway. I mean, you do so many runway shows and everything. And like you just mentioned, wasn't you like the headliner for the Georgia bridal show?
Well,
you like all the way up there. It's something.
I don't want to, take nothing away from anybody else. It's a group effort.
But I'm going to tell y'all, my friend is like one of the head ones with the Georgia bridal. So, yeah.
Oh, gosh. She said that. I didn't say that.
You're going to have all the other models throwing stuff at you next time you walk.
I know, right? I know. We're all a team, there's no I in team. There's no I in we. But I really appreciate that, man. It was really cool to be a part of that. That actually came from a relationship that I had with somebody that I was helping coach. I was model coaching Chantel. Hey, girl. I was model coaching Chantel, and she just gave me this lady's. Oh no, my phone's getting all dark.
Oh Lord.
Okay, my thing is.
So your sound just went out. Well, y'all can see me, so I can still keep talking. I can kind of hear you. You gotta elevate your voice. I can't hear her. So Shay will be back in a few seconds, hopefully. I mean, you get to the end of the show, Shay, and then your sound won't go out.
Hello?
I can hear you now.
Okay, now I hear you just
I
like.
can hear you. You're back.
Okay, all right. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, somebody called me, but I got it on Do Not Disturb. So I think that took like the volume away for a second, and then it just got dark.
It went away. It just went.
It wanted to like lower. Okay, there we go.
All right, Shay, before they call you back, because you know they're going to call you because you know you're popular. So go and tell people, you know, about your runway stuff because your call's going to come back.
So Runway, yes. It was really cool to be a part of the bridal show because of, you know, a friend of mine got me with this lady, and it literally took me like a year or two to even be noticed by this woman to let me into the bridal show. So I'm really thankful for that. But as far as runway shows are going, I don't really have any shows lined up right now. But I am the Runway Diva. I can teach you how to walk that walk. I did do a virtual show, which was really cool to, but I don't know if you can check that out or, you know, how amazing it was. But it was with NYSFE magazine, and I believe they have something up on YouTube where you can watch it. But other than that, I don't have any other runway stuff coming up. But I am, you know, that amazing slow turner. So if you check out my Runway Diva Shay page on Instagram, you might be able to catch a turn or two.
Yeah, you definitely gonna catch a turn or two. She's also walked for Macy's. They call her on the regular.
I ain't saying my own stuff.
Fashion Week. I mean, she being so modest right now, but I get it.
She's like, you ain't telling them your stuff.
Right. You know, you don't want to hit them. You don't want to hit them over the head. I understand.
Macy's, Dillard's, Fashion Week, Atlanta Fashion Week, the Georgia Bridal Show, modeled in California and Las Vegas, in Michigan and Florida, kind of some all over the place.
So you're global. They fly you places.
You know what I'm saying? I be getting flued out or whatever.
It's always great to get flued out. You know what I mean? Because they pay for everything, and it's like, wow, I'm getting paid to do something. All seriousness, I'm getting paid to do something that I absolutely love doing. You know, and then you get paid to do it. You know, I go overseas all the time working, and I call it workcation because I'm like, this is, I'm on stage for a good 30 minutes, and I'm, you know.
Yeah, that little bit of time, it's not even work anymore at that point. It's like, okay.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying my stuff. That's why I always say, do what you love. I started off saying that, do what you love. Whatever you're passionate about, do it, go after it, because then it won't be considered work. You'll be enjoying yourself. You'll never need like, oh, I need a break, I'm so exhausted. It's like, okay, what's next? We're going, where the next runway at? Like,
yeah, definitely. Well, Shay, we're gonna end this show, but I want to thank you for being a part of Transparency Talks podcast. I know that everybody on Facebook Live had a good time, you know, seeing you, that smile and everything, and the hair doing its own thing while you was talking. So thank you so much. We are going to sign off. Bye, you guys.
All right, bye. Thank you for having me.
If she only knew that I've been in her home, kissing you alone while she's gone.